What?
गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। टुडे वी गोना टैकल द फिफ्थ इन द सीरीज ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी एंड बैटल। वी गोना टॉक ऑफ artificial intelligence and domain awareness in the battle. Today, wherever you go, the the buzzword is AI. But AI by itself has got no value. It has to give you some recognized output. And that's where domain awareness kicks in. And we're going to talk about this in detail. Where will AI be used in armed forces? A broad overview. It'll be a built-in partner for space tech. There's no doubt about it. Wherever you want to go in space, it'll be there. Communications, robotics, net centricity, AR, especially for training and simulation, big data analysis, sensors, you name it and it is there. Tomorrow's autonomous weapon systems, you need AI. They have to function on AI, right? Change detection, that's going to be something important. It's going to disrupt costly sensors. Just to give you an example, on a UAV like the Predator, you have something called the optronic spectral sensometer. It functions day and night, right? It's probably the costliest part of a Predator. That with AI will just be taken away. What do you do in its place? You put low cost sensors, low cost cameras in view of costly stuff, and use digital image processing, use AI to get the same effect. It's going to make things cheaper. You're going to have AI in intelligence, logistics, maintenance, administration, human resources management, and when I say maintenance, preventive maintenance and predictive maintenance, it'll all facilitate better operations. More importantly, you'll have AI in weapon design, modeling, testing, manufacturing. So wherever you go, there is evidence. Let me give you a personal example. In our project for Ramjet and what we're doing ahead of it, we are using AI for predictive modeling tremendously. We are using it for manufacturing, in additive manufacturing, 3D printing, which I spoke of. So AI is now here to stay, right? But we need to understand it a bit better. I'll get to it. What are the, if you put some military applications of AI, those who want warfare systems, just go through a list. Efficient use of weapons, sensors, navigation, aviation support, surveillance, strategic decision making, data processing, combat simulation, target recognition, threat monitoring, effect-based network warfare, drone, UAV, UCAV, all these, swarms, cyber security, transportation, logistics, casualty care, and evacuation. That's the Dobby list. But important for you to understand, or everyone to understand. But we'll get into a little nitty-gritty. Okay. I'll start from the tactical, because everything starts from the battle. I showed this earlier in one of my things. In fact, I keep showing it everywhere because I think it's a very important article of Washington Post, where the Russian general and the Ukraine general have discussed. What do they say? Ukraine is an algorithm war, the second line. Digital intelligence and targeting systems have rewritten the rules of combat. AI. Okay. Fog of war experienced commanders for century has cleared. newly transparent battle space, AI. The last one, the best weapons today, agree that Russian and Ukrainian generals might be small, cheap systems, AI. In all these three, you need AI. And then you have the traditional weapons and the future weapons. But what connects them and what networks them is increased domain awareness. That we are going to talk of in detail today. So you need space for it. You need UAVs, you need networking, you need narratives. All these technologies are part of the military technologies of this century, which I spoke of. Right? AI. In a multi domain system, you need AI. And if you want to prosecute hybrid war, you need AI. Okay. Now, I did speak last time about small and cheap technologies. Look at these. In any of these small and cheap technologies, AI I have given as a separate thing, but it comes everywhere. If you want to go into a counterbattery system, you need AI, right? You need AR, VR for training, AI. Okay. You need GPS jamming or spoofing, you need AI because you need to put it in your system which can quickly detect which is the frequency at which you're getting signals. 3D printing, AI. Patient monitoring system that they also explain to you, you need AI. You name it. And of course, these new technologies and weapon systems. There is hardly a place where today you don't need AI. Okay. Xi Jinping wants to win local and regional wars in an intelligentized battlefield. And this is a statement in the 20th Party Congress 2 years back. And the Chinese had started investing very heavily into AI 4 5 years back. It's not as if others haven't. You'll be surprised. Even we have. But here is a national effort. Okay. Now, what I'll do is I'll take you through certain fundamentals. Not everything is AI. Okay. But let me explain to you fundamentally where does AI begin. AI begins with a code. A large code which can handle large data or what we say machine learning or deep learning, okay, is the fundamental of AI. And from there, when you complicate the whole thing, you get AI. So I'll take you through this process, what all is there, right? And I'll put it across as simplistically as possible. It's very interesting. But at the outset, let me tell you, 100 of the latest Apple Mac desktops, Mac 3 Pro, with some extra data storage, is wherewithal to develop a subject specific AI model like ChatGPT. Smaller but lethal. 100 with manpower. It can be developed, changed, and deployed into a utility for the purpose far beyond the large language model trained for harmless purposes. What is this? What is a large language model like ChatGPT is difficult to train for military purposes. But if I want to do a language model which is lethal for specific thing, I can do it. Today you have the capability of doing it. Horses for courses. One can develop a lethal model to be used for security purposes with human resources which are available in society. You don't need trained people, you just need good guys who can do a lot of coding with thinking, who can give the coders a pathway. Then you'll start getting results. I did a back of the envelope calculation. I did it with a few guys who were good, clued up. My son helped me in it because he's a PhD in software engineering, right? He says that look, To build a basic AI system for military purposes, give and take some change, will be around $100 million based on this 100 Apple systems. This is affordable by any half-hearted venture today. And you get a very lethal thing. So that is the power of AI which you can pack if you're very clear what you want to do. What I can do with 100 Apple Mac desktops, I'll show you at the end of the day. The last slide of mine goes to that. What is AI at the basic thing? Let's understand that also. It is the technology that enables computers and machines to simulate human intelligence and problem solving capabilities. On its own or combined with other technologies like sensors, geolocation, robotics. It can perform tasks which would require intelligence or intervention. Now, all these is GPS guidance, autonomous vehicles, generative AI tools, some examples. A lot of people talk that look, I'm AI driven. It might not be true. They're just putting too much logic and calling it AI. But then that's the fundamental of AI. Okay. How do you understand AI? And this is something which is, I'll explain it to you with a very, very, very simplistic model. Look at the top left corner block. You want to predict, a fundamental thing like cost of a house in say 2023 or 2024. Okay. Take the cost of a home in 2021. Okay. And then you go to along the top yellow line. You take the unit cost of that home in 2022 because this is available data. You put that, mix that into in the middle, call it linear prediction. Get linear prediction. You know what the cost in 21, 22, what should be in 23 is a linear prediction. That's fine. But that will it give you the right cost for 23? It might not give you. So then you say, I'll take input costs of land, labor, materials, inflation, all that. I'll take it in 21, then in 22. And I'll input this also into this linear prediction model. So I get something non-linear because the cost of the house finished products based on the 2 years, I can predict 23 costs. Based on the input costs, I get something more a variable. These two I mix and match with some proportion. I get the predicted cost of a house in 23. Now that will have a margin of error, right? It could be okay. Let's say the cost of the house is 1 lakh. Margin of error 10%. In the same way, you could have a margin of error around subjectively and objectively. I've just put financially, but it could be more. Okay. Now what happens is I take the predicted cost of the house in 23 and loop it back. Or in the margin of error, I loop it back. And I do a non-linear prediction. And I do a logarithmic prediction. In the middle, a gray arrow I get a third input. I fuse the first linear input, the blue linear input, and the gray non-linear input which I've got, or the logarithmic input which I've got. Okay, and I get a cost which is now intelligent. That will still have a margin of error, keeps looping. The more input I give, the better my costs are. Okay, now all this, let's presume I had done with data of just about 100 houses. And it was only for 2 years. I use big data. I see in Chennai, Delhi, Calcutta, Bombay, all the data of various testing, I put it as big data for both the years. And if I can increase the number of years, From 21, I go back to 2015, 6 years, and I do the same story. Input costs, other costs. I can also put cost of labor or whatever, right? I can put change the costs of advanced materials, advanced technologies. I input all these costs and variable thing. Then I get a better thing. So what does AI do? It takes simple things, big data. It has the ability to calculate it and predict, and out you come with something. The same thing I can use for a trajectory modulation. The same thing I can do for a design. The whole idea is to reduce my margin of error. The more data comes in, the lesser the margin of error. It's as simple as that to understand. I hope you've been able to understand with a very, very, very simplistic model, right? Now, it's not as if that AI is, self-sustaining, a self thing. You need an ecosystem for AI to function. If you don't have that ecosystem, you can't use AI. Which is that ecosystem? First is you need knowledge, a lot of data, machine learning, and big data. What I've shown you earlier, this is a machine learning model. The machine starts learning. More data you give, the more parameters you give it to work on, the machine starts learning. And at some point, it will tell you better parameters. You say the margins of error, which if you analyze, you get to know more parameters. So the machine is becoming more. And the more you do it, it is deep learning. The more data you put, more parameters you put, the more everything you put, you do deep learning. As simple as that. But it's not so simple. I put it in absolutely simple language. So you need that. That's the first thing of a AI ecosystem. The second thing, you need compute power. Because to do these repetitively at fast speed, data is coming in, it's getting processed, it's getting sifted, it is getting sorted out, going in, your parameters are changing, and the whole someone is writing a code and updating a code and fitting it because outputs give you something. It's in a loop. Okay, so you need the ability to compute it. You need powerful computers. Then you need storage, because where do you store big data? So if you need storage, you need cloud, which I explained to you in previous talks. If you have all this, you need energy. बिजली चाहिए भाई इन सबको पावर करने के लिए. And if you are in the battlefield, you need energy to power that also. So battlefield energy. Okay. Then you need a startup ecosystem to manufacture or design and build that AI model. And along with the startup ecosystem, you need an operative ecosystem to run that AI model and give you results. And then you need domain expertise, basically hardened soldiers who are technically enabled, who can run various systems and detect what's the problem in that. Because AI is not always correct. And then you need rokda, money. If you have all this, you have an AI ecosystem. People who don't know the power of AI balk at the whole story. But AI is today available everywhere. Okay. But people say AI will take over brains, we'll come to that. What are the types of artificial intelligence? This is something very interesting, basic you have to understand. No, most people don't know about it. You have type 1, which is narrow, general, and strong. Type 2, which is reactive, limited memory, theory of mind, self awareness. Where are we today? We are at narrow AI. We are not gone there. The others are largely theoretical constructs as of today. And this whole story will change when you have quantum computing. Because that enables you get the compute power to run huge data. China is taking in data and storing, but China also has a problem. I just read today in an article. They don't have storage capacity. They're running out of storage capacity. You're going to have so much data, they're going to be flooded that it's not worth it. So you have to be smart in how you handle this. You have too much data, it's like trash. Because it will overwhelm your system before it can sort itself out. You don't need to flood. Oh, this is figuratively. Graphically, narrow AI is dedicated for one task. General AI performs something like human beings. And super AI is intelligent AI. So these are the three things which are today in the realm of reality. But narrow AI is the only one. We'll talk of each of this, understand it a little bit better. This is available to perform a dedicated task with intelligence. Most common and currently available. Okay. Narrow AI cannot perform beyond its field or limitations because it's trained only for one specific task. People call it weak AI. And it can fail in unpredictable ways if it goes beyond its limits. There are huge limitations in narrow AI, and that's where we are today. General AI is intelligence which could perform any intellectual task with efficiency like a human. We are somewhere heading halfway to that. The whole idea is to make a system which could be smarter and think like a human being on its own. There are cases where people say this is happening, but very less. There is no such system which does general AI or as perfect as a human being. People are now focusing on general AI. Okay. Super AI is intelligence of systems where machines will think on their own. Okay. Where judgmental capability is built in, where it can communicate what it feels. It's still a hypothetical concept. It's not common. Okay. All these will come in when quantum comes to age because data, ability to handle data is more, compute power is more. But then you need a whole lot of data stacked and ready to feed that hungry machine which comes in tomorrow. Okay, now let's get to some practical things which are meant for battle. Computer vision, most important. Now, computer vision is, of course, narrow AI. Everything is narrow AI. It can be trained to interpret and analyze visual world so that intelligent machines identify and classify objects within images and video footage. And this is very important for us, computer vision. Digital processing, digital image processing, where you can take the fog of war out. What are the applications? Image recognition and classification, object detection, change detection. That means you can scan the image today. After 3 days, you scan the same image. the second image and the first image are compared, what are the changes come out? Then you know how, and if these set of changes are tracked or logged over a period of time, you have a clear track. Kya ho raha hai. Just think the same thing, say in a road. पहले track cutting होगा, then surface laying होगा, then the whole thing, survey. So if the same area is photographed through computer vision processed over a period of 6 months, you know the rate at which the road is progressing. If you know the rate at which the road is progressing, because you tracked it now, 6 months data you have, or 7 months data, I'm just giving you a thing, then you know in the next 7 months where it will go. If you know in the next 7 months where it will go and what kind of a road is coming in, because that also you can work out, then you can work a road capacity. Then you can work a road capacity by a particular year. And then you can get an offensive capability of a enemy in that year or stage by stage. That is the importance of computer vision. Very powerful. Okay. It is right. He says critical for use cases involve AI machine interacting and traversing the physical world around them. Self-driving cars, machine navigating warehouses, and other. But that's for the civil. I mean, all these could be used for logistics. But computer vision for domain awareness, we'll talk about it later. Robotics. To perform routine repetitive tasks which involve material handling, assembly, and quality inspections. That's in the industrial world, but you can do same things. Logistics functions in the armed forces. Good. Now, why I've chosen agricultural machines? Agricultural machines can engage in autonomous pruning, moving, thinning, seeding, and spraying. Very interesting. Agricultural machines and weapons of war have a fundamental connect. Why is Russia so good at making tanks? It was so good at making tanks because it was so good at making agricultural machines. The ground is so hard, the weather is so extreme that they had to make good agricultural machines to make to use the limited period to have a good crop. Otherwise, it's all frozen, that area. That's why they went for mechanization and they didn't have manpower. So their agricultural machines had to function for extended periods in tough conditions. And when the ground is hard, that gives a lot of stress on the vehicles. So they made good tanks. Now those tanks are being intelligentized. Like agriculture is being intelligentized, the tanks, the guns, the rockets, and the missiles are being intelligentized. That's why agriculture, whatever is happening in the agricultural field in terms of robotization, is equally important for you. Just to give you an example, take a thresher. Okay, it does threshing, it gets a combine harvester. It does everything. When you want to do mining or demining operations, you need the same effort. You want to do seeding of a field. Instead of seeding of a field, you can do seeding of a minefield. All ground, it comes from the ground. But you need to know how to do that to train that AI. If you don't know a particular operation, you can't train that because AI cannot think of its own. It will only think what you put into it today. Maybe tomorrow things will change, but we'll see tomorrow. But I don't see this changing for the next 10, 15 years. Why? Warfare is changing. Warfare itself is changing so fast That you're getting new concepts, and the old concepts are not letting go. So constantly, the man has to think and train that AI to do what it wants to do for robotics. Don't believe otherwise. Okay, then you have expert systems. Expert systems help you to take decision making processes simpler. Again, expert systems are trained by you and I. Our expertise, you lend it to them. Why? Because these systems can handle large amount of data. I'll give you an example. Last year, one of the core commanders approached me, operational core commander. He said, "Sir, we get so much data. I don't know how to do it, handle it. We are in the process of speaking to people to handle it through AI and develop an expert system." This look at the last one. They help businesses predict the future events and understand why past events occurred. The same thing I can use for battle. If I can put the data for say 1,000 battles and I feed in the current situation in which I am, I should be able to get out what are my options and what happened, what are the similarities with past battles, what are the problems which I could face in the current battle. You can develop an expert system, but it depends on how I develop it. Then this business of deep learning and machine learning, people हवा में बोलते हैं सब. So what is deep learning? What machine learning? They're all subsets of each other. It's not different. Machine learning and deep learning are sub-disciplines of AI. Deep learning is a sub-discipline of machine learning. Machine learning done with more data and more rigorous looping is deep learning of a particular subject. And they use neural networks to learn from huge amounts of data. Neural networks means they develop a certain amount of intelligence. What are neural networks? Programmed in structure, modeled after decision-making process of the human brain. But are simple. What is it? The end of the story in machine learning and deep learning differ in the types of neural networks they use and the amount of human intervention involved. That's it. In machine learning, it needs more intervention, deep learning lesser. But it doesn't replace the human being. Understand this. It eases how you do business in war. Then there is something called predictive analysis. Very useful for many things. Today, the predictive analysis is your typos on your mobile phones are all predictive analysis. It is available everywhere. When you type, the predictive words keep coming. The spell check, yeah, all predictive analysis. Okay. Now, they're invaluable tools for military commanders. It helps planning, executing operations. Because a large number of data comes, you find the pattern in the data. That pattern in the data, like I told you, will help you predict what's going to come tomorrow. So if you feed the roads, if you feed the movement, you feed the capacities, you feed all that, road capacity, you feed the weather, you feed at what speed vehicles can go on that road, you feed the daytime, you feed the night time, you feed whether it's moonlight or not. All these parameters, if you put, you can anticipate enemy movements. And then say, okay, make a guess, this chap is going to come here or here. And if he comes here, with what strength he'll come. If he's coming at a different place, what strength he'll come. Okay. And then it also helps you say, okay, I have my resources where I can deploy them. As a very simplistic way I'm trying to put across to you. Then cyber warfare. It's a huge thing. Whether you want to do cyber warfare or you want to protect yourself against cyber warfare, AI. Okay. Again, why? To break someone into someone with cyber warfare, you need to know how to break. And for that, you need data. Your attack processes need data. And that data has to be AI driven. Russia, China, US, Korea, North Korea, Iran, these now are taking off. Even Pakistan, maybe. Right? Can we do cyber warfare? We can. Let's be very clear, we can. Are we doing it? Someone must be doing it. Okay. Then let's take off big data driven modeling, simulation, and wargaming. Huge. For you can simulate designs. Simulation is not only for thing, you can do designs. Right? What does he say? Right? You can use it for gaming tools to study nuclear and unconventional weapons. For nuclear fallout effects, you can simulate missiles. You can simulate ADA environment. You can simulate anything. And right, you want to do design for all weapon systems from jet, ship to spacecraft, precision guided munitions simulation. We are using it. I'm telling you, we are using it in IIT. I'm using it. My students are using it. I don't know. Let me be very honest. But I tell them. They ask me, "Sir, how do I do this? How do I approach this?" I tell them. They do the rest. My expertise I give to them to develop AI. Because the guy who's writing a code doesn't know what is involved. Concept is a mine. Execution is those youngsters. Yeah. So tomorrow when you're looking at multi-domain battles, you need AI for planning, managing everything. Space के लिए तो you just don't have a choice. You need for production, additive manufacturing, definitely. Okay. Intelligence collection and analysis, huge. Now I'll come to, uh, you know, I've spoken of all this. What will be a continental domain awareness conceptual model? Why continental? Any domain awareness. So you need image processing that's based on computer vision. On the left, the blue ones, which can come from satellite imagery. It could come from UAV imagery. It could come from ground troops or any other form of imagery. So this imagery has to be processed through computer vision. And this computer vision can be given to all your aerial objects which are flying, your missiles, everything. And this, through this, you can develop not only targeting thing, troop movements, terrain, everything you can develop. Okay. You can do this on your own side also because you need certain amount of data on your own side. So that's something huge. Then you get a whole lot of electronic inputs. You need to put it somewhere. And then you get a whole lot of intelligence inputs, the red blocks, and other inputs, large language models. So the intelligence inputs which you get and the other inputs which you get, large language, large data, and from OSINT, open source intelligence, feed it in and train your model. and develop a large language AI model, which is almost mandatory. You don't have a choice other than that. Now, the electronic input, the computer vision input, and this large data model has to be fused and analyzed. So that's data fusion. And if you have data fusion, you need cloud to keep it. And once you have cloud, you could be in process data, raw data. And data fusion and analysis in that box, you could have live data, running problems. And then you can tap it the way you want. It could be need based, gridded, right? For a particular person, you can only access so much. And you can get domain awareness as an output or as an input for another model. So I've just given you a broad idea of what AI is and what domain awareness is. And today, the major issue is domain awareness. In many other things, things have started moving, but yeah, domain awareness. People have not got it right still. Right? Let me assure you that. If they got it right, these wars wouldn't have gone for so long. Okay? So, but today, AI dominates. Will it come to the level where you have independent intelligent systems working on their own? There's a long way off. Because you don't have the compute power, you don't have the capability to write and think, because that AI is only as good as what you put in. It is garbage in, garbage out. Still. Neural networks have not become self-intelligent like a human being. Right. So this is what AI is all about and how it functions in battle. So I'll take on some questions and then we'll see. Okay. In my measured view, AI fed with qualified human intelligence with precision fire on demand would, in a manner speaking, increase cost of wars. Your view? No, it will not. It will in fact decrease the cost of wars. Because why it will decrease, you have to understand. If you can precisely engage a target with all the data which is available and the target is destroyed, even with one precision round, which is very costly, you save on logistics, you save on time, you save on so many other things, the collaterals, right? But at the same time, it's not everything. So you have a balance in all this. You can use good AI with dumb ammunition and make the dumb ammunition smarter and cut out the errors of the dumb ammunition. There are tricks to do it. Or you can circumvent spoofing through AI and make precision ammunition effective. So there are methods. That's the thing, leverage you get. How to designate an AI model as lethal? No, don't worry about it. Other name about Sadhan Jai Hind. Yeah, not darenge na kabhi. Yeah. Thanks. Great come. I'm. Yeah. All your. Now you've gone Hinduon ko and Vampanthi. We'll not talk of all that. Yeah. You said you disagree with General Shukla when he says we'll need AI to counter AI-based weapons. So at what point we have to start worrying about AI making a difference in war? AI F-16 already. Look, we don't know. I told you, AI exists in almost everything today. But do you have that AI kind of a thing which can do independently? No, it is assisted. It is human assisted AI. It makes the human being more efficient. That's about all. It's not. They're not autonomous weapons completely. We do not come to that level. People have tried autonomous vehicles and burned their fingers. Autonomous flying objects, predetermined paths, everything fine. Do you think they can do automatic aviation and all that? Very little. या यहाँ की विश्लेषण आपकी दूरदृष्टि का सोच को बढ़ा देता है. सभी चैनल लेटेस्ट के बारे में बताते हैं और यहाँ सब कुछ सटीक और व्यापक है. या दैट्स द होल आइडिया. हम तो सबको क्लियर बताना चाहते हैं कि है क्या, असलियत क्या है. अगर आप समझते नहीं हो कि क्या असलियत है तो फहमी गलत ही होगा. Is human intelligence passed directly by AI system prone to errors and bias? It would probably require an NLP step to make HI more. Yeah, this is a long way off. Don't worry about it. There's a long way off. See another example. Computer vision for letter samples are. Yeah, I told you. I told you about computer vision, so I explained to you. I saw your question before I finished computer vision. Army has started Uddhav to use wisdom from ancient facts, text for modern situation. Oh, look, all this is, big talk. Uddhav and all that. बहुत टाइम है उसके लिए. जिसने सीखना है ना पुराना अपने आप सीखेगा. ये कोई सिस्टम नहीं बताएगा आप. Don't worry. There's a lot of gimmickry in this. Yeah, there are limitations. Who use limitation? Smart sea minds gather analysis data. Yeah, they will. Everything is there. Everything is smart these days. Data is something there. Yeah. So with super AI based systems in place, what is the likelihood that they may control the course of events totally? This is far-fetched, Vishnathan. Let's see when it comes. I don't think. Right. Smart glide bomb use AI vision to navigate. ये सब कहानी है भैया. ये सब कहानी है अभी तक. Yeah, come to think of it, yeah, USA rolled out LIDAR and China rolled out face recognition. Yes, they have, but they're not perfect so far. They've been doing it for the past 10 years. And in my view, it'll never be perfect. We as a species, on one hand, are creating superhuman artificial entity to sit in judgment over. Yeah, this is the ethical thing people are thinking. And what everyone who's in the AI field is very clear on is that laws will prevent AI to go beyond a level. Okay. Uh, Already thinking is on that. Okay. Yeah. The end game of AI appears to be that the educated few would control the destiny of mankind. I agree with you. You have to be on the ball, otherwise you're lost. I feel for AI to be truly devastating in kinetic ops, it will have to be integrated into cost-effective weapons. How can AI be integrated with, say, dumb ammunition, just like we've done cardboard drones? No, that's not the way to do it. You do it externally, but that's something else I'll explain to you some other day. You do it externally and eliminate the errors through AI. If you eliminate the errors, the dumb ammunition becomes half smart. So that's how it is. That's the cheaper route and the better route. Okay. It's not easy to make dumb ammunition smart, but that's what you hold. And that's the cheaper thing. You can't always hold precision equipment, and precision equipment is only 10%. Indian startups are using satellite imagery. Yeah, I agree with you. AI is based on cold data but can be used by Ram and Ravan. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a fine thing which you said. There's propaganda that Chinese are being robotic dogs to LAC. What will they do with the dog? That's stupid. That is absolute propaganda, nothing more. Uh, this is propaganda. Don't fall for it. Okay, role of algorithms in development of AI will have to depend on a common ethical foundation. That is the crux of the problem today with all governments. And governments are going to bring in ethics, and it depends on how ethical your government is. You might have a code of ethics for internal and something else for external. So let's see how it evolves. Sabotaging AI or deceiving it can be valid. Yes, definitely. You feed the wrong data. Yeah. Okay. So today, obviously, the attendance is low because everyone is looking at exit polls. I mean, it was a foregone conclusion. The exit polls will just confirm it, unless India will give a complete turnabout something sometimes later. But then we'll see about that. Okay. Thanks for attending. Those of you who attended, please give it to your friends. And tomorrow, ये exit poll का जोश भी थोड़ा खत्म हो जाएगा. We'll talk whether technology wins wars. General Dushan Singh also will join me. Join me tomorrow in the evening at 8 o'clock. Till then, goodbye and Jai Hind.